Today we are here to describe why zoos should remain untouched and the remainless price of human-animal interaction. First of all, I'd like to conclude the fact that here's the thing Alexis brought up, that PETA she said, why should we believe PETA? Protection of animals. That's kind of dismissing your argument right there, isn't it? But let's face the facts. Zoos are, there's a movie that I like to watch. It's called Network. The most famous quote from that movie is, "The world is a business." And you know what? Zoos are a business. Zoos make $5.1 billion, and 10% of that goes to taxes to the state. So if we wipe out zoos today, all that money that's going to the state, just gone. It's all going to be gone by tomorrow if we just wipe out the zoos today. And do we also know how much zoos mean to people? Do you know how many people work in zoos in the US alone? There are approximately 100,000 people working in zoos today. That is a lot of jobs that you're going to lay off just because animals are being mistreated, even though they're not being mistreated. So you know what? Zoos are actually a fascinating fact. I like to bring up a quote that you said, Alexis, that dinosaurs, that we do the same thing for dinosaurs in digitalized area. Well, I don't see a zoo about dinosaurs. Sure, there's museums, and there's skeletons, and there's bones. But this isn't Jurassic Park. We're not going to see any dinosaurs roaming around the cages soon. And, Bree, I like to bring out something Bree said. I like to say that she had no facts about the tour guides, just the teachers leave them. Well, I have some facts right here that say that the Santa Ana Zoo alone has programs. They have programs. Okay, so here it is. The programs that the zoo has, they have a bus so you can go and see wild animals at play in a plane where you can see them just running free, doing what they do naturally in the safety of their own comfort in a cage. And that's just fine. That would be excellent to see. I would love to see lions running across, and that's what they do in an average day. Let's see. And also, what was that? Okay. And also, zoos are also great for another thing. They also bring out the greatness of breeding programs. For example, did you know that about 21% of the world's mammals and about 12% of the bird species and 33% of amphibians are threatened with extinction? Well, the thing about zoos, they're trying to bring these animals together to raise them, and they're not only trying to release them back into the wild where they have no clue of how they're doing it. No, they're going to keep them in the zoos. They're going to keep them here. So they're going to keep them where they know. How would you like it if somebody just threw you out in the wild and you had no clue what to do? You had to just run into your own job. And now you're just going to be like, it's the wild. That's cool. But now I have to fight for myself. I wouldn't like that. I'd love to just stay in my house all day, but I have to get a job. I have to maintain my animal lifestyle right there. Also, there are methods to kill animals in the wild. Did you know that? I never heard one quote on your side debating that there are animals dying on the wild as much as they are in the inside. And it's not just, oh, there's more animals in the wild. No, it's a greater percentage of animals dying in the wild. Why? Because there are methods of killing for fur. Here it is. And there's a quote by Jake Owen of the ABC National Wildlife Preservation that's saying there are methods to kill animals by their fur, and there are whales, and there's an extinction of whales mainly in the Atlantic Ocean because of Japanese hunters, Asian hunters, Chinese hunters, all because for food and their pelts. And if we keep animals engaged, we can keep them scattered. We're not going to keep them in the same cage. We're not going to keep a lion in here, and then in this right here, we're going to have a meerkat that just taunts them. No, that's torture right there. There are animal rights out there that they deserve as much rights as we do. Here we go. Sarah Christie from the Most Captive Born Predators If Die Released from National Geographic's program, saying that carnivores have have a greater chance of surviving in the inside when they're handed their food instead of having to fight for it on their own. Did you know, and there is a same fact right here, that over 400 pounds of meat go to the lions alone, just so they can eat. They're not starving, they're not trying to stay on their own, they're feeding them the same way they would be fed in the wild. And this way, they'll be having to run. They won't have to run for their food. They won't have to fight for their food. They'll just have to stay in their cage, and that's fine, so that we can learn about them. We're not... Most of today, we're trying to stay relevant with the times. So that's why San Diego Zoo has this new thing where you can have a camera, where they have cameras where you can see, you don't even have to go to the zoo. You can just mix technology and animal beings together, where they have animals together. And the camera, where you can literally see what they're doing. You can see penguins sliding in a penguin cam. You can see apes swinging from vines on an ape cam. You can see koalas being koalas on a koala cam. And there are just many, many cams out there. And this isn't the only zoo that does it. I'm sure there are plenty of zoos out there in the world that do this. I know for a fact that the New York Zoo does this as well. And there's a famous quote by John Pickle from Saving the Animals at ABC Environment. He says, "Nothing compares to the emotional impact of seeing the real thing. Who says the connection of a powerful can't be powerful too? We can get an environmental message across 14 million or so visitors that cross the zoos all over the world each year." So this is great. We're trying to blend the animals that we have brought civilization to them. Maybe if we find a way, there are protections all over. There's PETA, there is National Rights Association, there is everything that protects these animals right there. So there is no reason for them not to be in the zoo. There is as much reason as us to be in civilization as much as they are.